everybody, thank you so much for joining me for this video today. This video is going to be about some simple things that you can do to make money on Poshmark. As many of you know, I am a reseller and I resell on Poshmark, and I absolutely love Poshmark. I have worked on other platforms in the past, and Poshmark, I just love the community in Poshmark. I love it that you're able to really boost your listings and promote them yourself by sharing. And today I'm just going to go through a few tips and things that I use to boost my sales on Poshmark. So Poshmark, if you're not familiar with it, is an online buying and selling app. And you can go into the App Store on your phone and download it, create an account. It's very simple and very easy to buy and sell. It's as simple as taking a picture, basically. That's the first thing you do when you are going to list an item from your closet. And personally, I really like it because it's very simple and easy to maneuver and to understand. It's easy to understand how to use it. It's very user-friendly. But I've been selling on Poshmark for several years, and this past year in like September, October is when I really got serious about selling and being consistent on the site. In my opinion, consistency is super, super important on Poshmark. If you're consistently on the app, you're consistently sharing, listing items, listing other people's items, or sharing other people's items, excuse me, and following people, you will make sales on the app. So I just want to go through a few things with you today to talk to you about and why it's so important to do these things in your closet. I'm also going to talk to you about what my sales have been so far this month, and let you know, like on average, how many sales I make a day. So, and if you do these things, you might have a different outcome than I do. Personally, I have been on the app for quite a while. I've followed a lot of people, and I do have like 55,000 followers on Poshmark. I think you could easily do that if you're following people every day. You could easily get up to that in a few months if you're very consistent with following a large amount of people. For me, I saw the increase the increase in followers when I decided I wanted to be a Poshmark ambassador, which I'm not really going to get to in here, but there's just a few things you have to do consistently to become a Poshmark ambassador. It's not terribly difficult to become one, but it's easy to find out on the app, the information within your Posh stats. So I'm not really going to go over that too much here, but when I decided I wanted to be a Posh ambassador, I had been on the app for quite a while already. So when the opportunity arose for me to become one, at first I didn't, because I wasn't really selling on the app very much. But then I decided that I wanted to become one because there were some things that I thought would be beneficial for me. You can get on the suggested user or suggested follower list, maybe in a Poshmark ambassador and such. So that was one thing that I thought was important for me to decide to do, because I do want to make sales daily on Poshmark. So one of the first things, obviously, you're going to do when you decide that you want to sell something out of your own closet, or maybe you have inventory, maybe you sell on other platforms, but you'd like to begin selling on Poshmark and try your luck out there. It's very important, once you choose an item that you're going to sell, that you take clear photos. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have to have it hanging. It doesn't have to be on a mannequin. You can have it just flat laid on the ground, on a nice background. I prefer white, but you could do a wood background, or you could do some type of textured background. You want something that is gonna make the item pop out. For instance, white on white is very difficult for the item to really be seen properly. So it's important that you if you are selling and trying to list something that is white, that you take good pictures. And if you are going to have a white background as your main photo, maybe take pictures of the item not on the white background as well. I personally think if it's white or a very, very light color that blends into the white, if you have a white background, try to take the picture on a different colored surface. I have wood floors in my home, and so sometimes if I have something white and I do not have a background that is like large enough to fit the piece, then I will put it on, you know, clean wooden floor and make it look nice. Maybe put something to accent it on as well in the picture. And that makes the item pop out. So you want to make sure your photos are clear. You know, if you have like a flip phone, you're probably not going to get real clear pictures. So it would be great to get a camera. It also, you know, I use just my phone to take photos for reselling on Poshmark, and I generally just use a white background. The room that I have specifically set aside for my inventory has like a white wall, and what I do is I just I have like a hook in the wall, and I'll put the item on a hanger. And I personally like to use like an acrylic clear hanger because if I have to do any type of photo editing, that clear hanger just looks really nice on it, and sometimes you can't even see it because of the white background. So it just makes it look like nice and crisp and clear. So that is how I do it. It's very simple and very easy. You just put it on a hanger. If you don't have acrylic or clear hangers or a white hanger or whatever, just use what you have available at the moment, and you just hang the item on the hanger and put it up and take a picture. If you have natural lighting maybe coming through a window in the room that you're photographing, you may not need any type of lighting kit. I personally did not start with a lighting kit. I just started with having the shades open. But if you want to take pictures in the evening, it's really, really nice to have a lighting kit. I personally, this is a part-time thing that I do. So I personally have to take a lot of pictures in the evening and maybe not at the peak light time of the day, you know. So obviously right away you don't have to. If you're new to reselling, you don't have to have a lighting kit, but it is nice to have one depending on when you're going to take pictures, or if it's a gloomy day, if it's a rainy day and the sun's really not shining, then your photos are going to be darker. But you want to take clear, crisp pictures. You also want to photograph any imperfections the item might have. It's important when you're buying something, you want to know everything about that piece, and if for some reason the item is not in excellent condition, you want to show if there's pilling or stains or threads coming loose. You want to also put that in the description box as you're describing the item, but you also want to take a photograph of it. I recently had a question about a pair of cashmere pants, and there was a repair made to the waistband where the elastic part was coming out of the waistband, and so there was a repair made, and someone specifically asked me, where is it? And I thought in my photograph that it would have been obvious to where the issue was with the pants, but they asked me, where is it? So then I had to describe to them where it was at. Now, if I would already put that in my description, then they wouldn't even have to ask me a question. I wouldn't have to respond. So that's something I'm learning too. Sometimes photographs are not enough. Sometimes you can kind of describe something, but not as well, because I had described that there was a flaw in the item, but I didn't specify like where the flaw was, I guess. And so when they asked, I was like, well, of course it's in the waistband. You know what I mean? I wasn't rude to them, but I told them, oh yeah, it's on the waistband and there's a picture of it. But it's important to be descriptive also, because that's going to take more time for you when people are asking you questions, because your description really is not descriptive enough. You don't want to just put in good condition, size 5, or whatever it is. You know, you want to put the size it is. You want to put measurements in. So if I'm measuring a top, I'm going to measure the chest across and the length. If you have a dress, you might want to do the waist and the hips as well. If you have a pair of pants, You want to measure the waist, the inseam, and the rise. Especially with jeans, people want to know what kind of rise it is. I specifically, I'm a very short person, so inseam is very important to me, and I need to know exactly what the inseam is, or the pants are going to be way too big for me. So you want clear photos, and you want a good description. Also, in the title of the item that you're listing, you don't need to put women's, men's, babies, right? I mean, you could, maybe if you're doing babies, I don't really sell baby clothing, but you could put baby clothing or whatever, however you're going to describe it in the title, but you really don't need to do that because you're choosing a category. So if I'm choosing a women's category to sell a dress in, I don't need to put women's in the title, right? You really don't need to put the size either because that's going to show up already when the item comes, when people are scrolling. The size is also going to show up, so you don't need to put that in the actual title because it specifically already shows up. So the title you type in shows up, and the size, because you already choose that in a drop-down box as you're making your listing. So you don't need to put the size in it. I used to, but I don't anymore once I realized there's no point for that. There's no reason to do that. So in the title, you want to describe the item. So you want to say J. Crew pullover long sleeve sweater or something like that. So you're saying, you're describing it, the style, what it is, and the color. If I usually would put the main color, if it's multicolored, I'll put that in the description box, but in the title, I'll put the main color. So if it's like, this is like pink and white, I'm not going to put pink and white in the title. I'm going to put pink in the title and then put white accented stripes or, you know, dog logo, you know, pink dog logo, or whatever it is. So you're going to describe that more in the description than you are the title, because you have less characters in the title than you do the description to describe the piece. So it's important to have good pictures, a good description, a good title, and also a couple of things that I want to mention shortly. It's very important to share each day. I share at least 100 to 200 items every single morning. I have a routine. I get up, I take my shower, I do my daily devotions, I make my coffee, I eat my bagel, and while I'm eating my bagel and drinking my coffee, I am sharing, and I share 100 to 200 items a day. I think I have like 800 or 900 active. I don't remember exactly. Listings. I do not share all of them every single day. I try to share the ones that I haven't shared the day before. I think it is important to share your whole closet, but I just do not have time, as it's not my full-time job. So sometimes I'm able to share more than others. Sharing every day is really important. I also try to share 100 items from the feed, which are multiple people's, you know, pieces from their closet, and I try to share at least 100 of those. I also try to list daily. This doesn't always happen, but I do try to be consistent with listing daily. If you have 50 items, you know, don't list them all in one day. Spread it out throughout the whole week. And try to list each day something, even if it's 1 or 2 items. Try to do it every day. Okay, so being consistent is very important on the app, and those are the things that I do to make sales. Now, on average, I make about 2 sales a day. So I'm not, if I did more, I would make more, because what you put into Posh is what you'll see come out. I do have about 55,000 followers currently, and as my followers got up, I would say between 30 and 50, that's when I saw more consistent every day, at least 2 sales. Almost every single day I make 2 sales. Some days I'll make 3, but generally I make 2 sales a day, and it is very inconsistent as to the times of day I make them. Sometimes I'll make them in the evening, sometimes I make them in the morning. So to me, I don't know if there's anything that correlates to that specifically, but I do know sharing is really important. This is the end of the second week in June, and so far I have made $295 on Poshmark. and that is after the 20% Poshmark fee that they do take. So almost $300, and today's not over yet. So I did count one sale that I had today, but today's not over yet. So about $300, and that's on Poshmark. So in theory, if I continue the same way, selling the same amount the rest of this month, I'll make about $600 on Poshmark, which is phenomenal. That is incredible to me. I put very little time into Poshmark. I need to put more in, and I want to, but it's phenomenal that you're able to make that much money by putting in a little effort. And I love Poshmark. I really enjoy doing it. Like I said, just don't always have time. So anyway, I hope some of these things were helpful for you to give you some ideas. I do sell lots of different kinds of brands, and I will link my store in the description box so that you can check it out. And also just check out Poshmark if you're not already on it. If you are on it, try some of these things and see if it helps with your sales. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!